just broke that James Harden had just been traded to the Los Angeles Clippers, and it was never really a matter of if, but it was more of a matter of when. Okay, so the full details of the James Harden trade just got released, and the results of the trade are looking like neither team is the winner or the loser. There are pros and cons for both sides. For the 76ers, they're getting a bunch of guys who are rotational guys like a Marcus Morris or a Nicholas Batum. But to me, nothing that they've gotten is really going to matter in like the next 2 years unless they can flip that into something valuable. Marcus Morris is a guy who can put up 15 a game, but again, he's not going to move the needle. And this is a team that's trying to win a championship. Nicholas Batum is a great role player, don't get me wrong, but he wasn't that missing piece. Same thing with Robert Covington. He's another shooter next to Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey, but come playoff time, he might not even be in the rotation. But again, those draft picks are way into the future, 2028, 2029. There's a low chance that those draft picks materialize into something like great, like a #1 pick. And for the Clippers, James Harden is a generational fit next to PG and Kawhi. And I think Harden should start at the 1, and then Terrence Mann should start at the 2. I don't think Russell Westbrook should be starting for this team. And given the point that he's at in his career right now, I don't think he should be getting like crazy minutes next to James Harden. And the addition of PJ Tucker is very valuable as well. He's a guy who can shoot the 3. He's also a really good defender, someone who can guard 1 through 4, and he's someone who you can rely on in a playoff rotation. I think him and Nicholas Batum provide the same value for their respective teams. But as far as where this leads both teams, again, I don't think this changes much. If the Clippers are healthy, there's still that factor of them possibly underperforming in the playoffs again. James Harden is a notorious playoff underperformer, but hopefully he can clean up some of the playmaking woes of this team, mainly during those stages where their offense just looks completely awkward and it just kind of devolves into like isolation ball. I just hope with the personnel that Tyronn Lue has at his disposal, I hope he can, do something creative with it. And for the 76ers, this just puts more offensive pressure on Embiid and Maxey. And as far as Joel Embiid goes, he's got to learn how to be a better playmaker out of the post. If the Sixers really want to find success, Embiid's playmaking has to be a factor. Teams can't be so comfortable double teaming him in playoff series. That to me is the real big factor with the Sixers. The Clippers have been in desperate need of a real playmaker. James Harden is that. While he is going to be the third option, he's thrived in those roles where he can be the lead ball handler, the lead playmaker. And then obviously health is like the big question mark with the Clippers. Hypothetically, if they are still healthy, they can make it to the Western Conference Finals with James Harden on their roster. And assuming that the Clippers just didn't overhaul their roster and give up too much for Harden, they're still going to have a good amount of depth on their team. He's already gained this horrible reputation around the league, and because he's in a contract year, he has a chance to somewhat make it a little bit better. If Harden balls out this year, there's a chance that some team out there, or even the Clippers themselves, they might give him a contract that he will like. But realistically speaking, I could see things going completely south. If LA doesn't stay healthy this season, Harden has the option to just leave in the offseason. Pray that the Clippers end up staying healthy this season because I want to see how this fit works out. I still think it's a generational fit, given that Harden is what the Clippers have been needing for the past 3 years. And then on top of that, James Harden isn't the greatest in the playoffs. I'm not going to call him a choker, but especially in Philly and in his later years, he hasn't really had the best reputation in the playoffs. For the Clippers, it's kind of been the same thing. So I want to see that dumpster fire when it happens. One final note on James Harden himself. James Harden is lucky that he was able to leave this Philly situation and get what he wanted. He's lucky that the Sixers were able to find a trade for him with all the BS that he's caused, with all the chemistry issues that he's caused. To be honest, he's lucky that he got to his desired destination in the Los Angeles Clippers, because to me, this is James Harden's last chance to prove that he can at least contribute to a winning team. We've seen James Harden as the #1 option on the team before. We've seen James Harden as the supporting piece on the team before. We've seen James Harden as the second option. This situation in LA, barring injury, is the best situation he's been in since Kyrie and Kevin Durant. And even then, he got to play with Joel Embiid, who's one of the best bigs in the NBA. It's not like James Harden hasn't been fortunate throughout this whole process, but with all the commotion that he caused, if he can't salvage the situation in LA, especially with him being on a contract year as well, he's out of opportunities at that point. No more excuses for him.